All right, hey again, everyone. Hope you guys are doing well. So I actually just recently received a really great question from someone on YouTube about how they can maybe feel like time is running out a little bit more. It's from a person named Sarah Knutson. So first and foremost, thank you for watching that previous video of mine. And yeah, her question was, hey, I feel like I'm play last. I feel like I have all the time in the world, and I would love your take on how to feel like time is not infinite, right? And I think even before that, just to scroll up, just to give a little bit more detail. One thing that she mentioned, that led to this question was this question of I preach patience and trusting or following my systems all the time. I feel like I have infinite amount of time, and my anxiety crashes happen when I realize I don't, and I have to speed up. So the question then is, okay, if you're demon play, let's say, how can you then leverage the strategy that Save Your Play seem to be doing on autopilot, right? Meaning like, hey, we need to freaking do this, right? So first and foremost, I'm going to go to the checklist, and then I'm going to, define some terms, and then hopefully I can start giving you that answer, Sarah. So starting off so this is my version of the checklist. Of course, it's going to be way more chaotic and messy than David Shan's, so don't worry about that just yet. We're just going to focus on the official definitions just for simplicity, okay? So there are two main definition sources. The first one is from the class notes, or yes, from the class notes, and then the second one is from the type of tool, where they kind of simplify it, especially if you look for someone who has that animal double activated, right? So if you look for play last, a person with play last, they'll give you a definition in that what do you want to call that, the type of tool that gives a more simple definition than what they have in their current checklist. So that's where I'm getting these from. So going from sleep and play, let's define the terms. So sleep is defined by David Shan as a few things: processed state, self-reflective, resolved, putting on the brakes, and then also learning via repetition, right? And then there's that time thing that we'll talk about in a second. And then play, in contrast, is defined as rediscovering info, pinging the tribe, unresolved, and expending energy, and then also learning with others, right? So taking the time observation aside for a second, in order for you to start, let's say, feeling more like time is an enemy, you have to do kind of the atomic habits, right? I'm preaching that. You have to do the little tiny subcomponents of play, and you have to keep repeating them, and over time your emotions will adjust to why it's happening that way. Now, what do I mean by that? So let's go back to play, right? Okay. If you now, people self-type, you might end up being Save Your Play tomorrow, and all this gets thrown out the window. But let's assume that you are indeed demon play, right? So whenever it comes to things that you're difficult at, the best course of action is you need to, identify and define your terms, and then you need to break down the animal into its like 2-minute habits or 2-minute actions for you to improve at that behavior. And you need to just keep repeating that until play becomes like a habit for you, right? You want to kind of build a system into yourself where play becomes something that you can do without thinking. So for example, here, okay, so if play is partially defined as pinging the tribe or learning with others, what you did in the YouTube comment is a really great thing that you did if you are a demon play, right? Where you actually asked a question, you're pinging the tribe, and you're learning via the response of the tribe as opposed to you learning by repeating some information by yourself, right? So that'd be the first thing I'd recommend. Just go keep doing what you're doing right now if you are demon play, right? Maybe you should get your type first, actually. But if just keep asking people questions, and then on top of that, one way that's gonna really help is ask people to help you solve problems, right? Once you and the reason I say this is because once you start getting into that territory, right? Once you start asking people for help with your problems rather, then you're going to start seeing time as an enemy for a few reasons. One, because as you start asking people for help, they're going to waste your time, to be honest, because most people don't fully know what the solution is either. So you're scrambling, trying to ask for help, and it kind of sucks. But then the second thing that's going to happen is that you're going to overgather information whenever you're doing play, because remember, so I don't know if I should probably have a formula here in my chart, but you have to remember that animals are basically two functions working together. So whereas sleep is your OI and your DI working together, play is your DE and your OE working together. And what is OE defined as? OE is defined as gathering new information, right? And then a lot of will see. So the thing with play when it comes to your experience of time is as you have to practice it first, right? None of this is going to make sense until you behave it. But as you start practicing asking people for help, asking people for answers to questions you may have, you're going to start feeling this internal pressure of, oh shit, like I gathered way too much and I can't act on all of this, right? You suddenly become aware of the full spectrum, not only of the tribe's perspective, but you also become aware of the full spectrum of what you could do with your life, right? You've gathered so many options for solutions. The pressure is going to come organically, right? You're going to start feeling like, oh shit, I do not have enough time to act on all this, right? Whereas let's compare to sleep. Again, you have to get yourself typed first before you like blanket apply this. But let's say with sleep, okay, you're going over your known information again and again and again. You're not comparing your answers to the tribe. You're not comparing your answers to the outside world. So it's going to be a natural consequence that you're going to feel like time is an ally because you don't have the outside perspective of what you can do. You're just trusting your own inner feeling of, oh, this is right, or oh, this makes sense to me, right? And of course time's going to be an ally because you're not feeling pressured by the outside world or by what other people have accomplished relative to you. You have no measure to determine whether you're moving fast or not because you're just checking yourself, if that makes sense. So I guess that's my answer. Start by just doing the habits, right? That's what I'd always recommend for people who want to do their demons. Break down play into 2 minute, 30 or 30-second even tiny wins, right? And how you do that, again, you go to the definition, you ask yourself, okay, how can I practice this 30 seconds at a time, right? So if I need to learn with others, how can I just message someone for help, right? That's a 30-second action. How can I then, ask for help, right? When it comes to I'm dealing with a problem, right? So build those habits. And then as you build those habits and you start gaining that OE perspective of how many options you really have, and then as you start gaining the DE perspective of, just how many tribe accomplishments there are compared to you really, then you're going to feel like time is running out because now you have the spectrum of knowing what the hell is going on. So that would be my answer. Hopefully that's coherent. If you want to, I do have a snug, so it's like, I know it's $20. It kind of sucks. I kind of wanted it to be 2 cents because it'd be more funny, right? So I could give my 2 cents. But anyway, if you do want a quality hour with me where we can talk, I can definitely help you with that. But otherwise, feel free to leave comments, and then I can kind of take it from there. But thank you so much for the question. I hope you're doing well. I hope everyone who watched this got some benefit as well. And I will see you guys again in a little bit. Take care.